Hello, welcome everybody. My name is Alberto Marquez, and in this video I am going to demonstrate how to build in a fast and easy way control charts for the mean for variables using R, particularly the library qicharts. So here we are. I already loaded the data using read CSV files. I probably have done that before. So my data is in this data frame, and for you to be able to see, what we can do is we can ask just for the head of FFCC. I will show the first 6 rows, but the benefit of that is you can see the titles of the columns. So I have the day, the shift, and then I have 5 readings. So I need to be able to compute the average of the readings, because the average of the readings per day and per shift will be the ones that will be graphed. So just as a complementary information, you can do tail of FFCC to look at the last rows, but you still get the headings of the columns. So the first thing I'm going to do is I already installed qicharts. I need to call it. I need to call the library. So that's what I do. It's giving me a warning that there is going to be a qicharts 2, but in the meantime, this is what we have. So before I proceed to actually create the chart, I have to create the average, and in order to create the average, I am going to compute the mean by row of the information that I have. So for that, I will create a new column. So the way that I'm going to do this is in the same data frame, I am going to define a new column, and I'm using the notation $, and the name of my new column is going to be x.bar. This will be assigned as the row means, but I don't want the mean of every single column, because there are data that you cannot compute, like S1, S2, and that doesn't make sense. And then the number of the day should not also be computable. So, well, before I do that, let me explain. You can access the last columns by doing FFCC, and then the first parameter would be for the row, and if I don't specify anything, it's every row. Let's say I specify only the first row, and then I want to go from column 3 to column 7, and it's going to give me the first row for x1, x2, x3, x4, and x5, which are columns 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and it's only the first row. So using the power of having that definition of the columns, I am going to proceed to create the new column, which is going to be named, as I mentioned, x.bar, and the assignment of that column is the means of the column, or column means of what? Well, of the same table, which is a data definition FFCC, but not for all the columns, but for only columns, every row. So I don't indicate any row, but for purposes of columns, the average of each row is for columns 3 through 7. So if I do that, a new column will be created containing the means of columns for x1, x2, x3, x4, and x5. I have an error. Let's see. What do I have? FFCC. Replacements have rows that has 42. Let's see what we have in FTC. FFCC. The new column is X bar, and what we're going to assign in that column is FF is going to be row means of FFCC in positions in columns 3 to 7. Okay, I don't know what I typed wrong the previous time. If I list the header of FFTC now, you will see that there is a new column, and this column computes the average for that particular row, and that's the one that we're going to be using to compute to create the graphic. Now, if you go to the documentation of the qicharts, and let me bring that, you will see here that we have different parameters to make this graph more attractive. So I'm going to copy that into a notepad file, and then I'm going to bring it back to my RStudio. Okay. Alright, so I copy this to my notepad, and from the notepad I'm copying it again and bringing it to RStudio. So I copy it to RStudio. There you go. That's the original sentence in the demo, but I don't have these data. What the data that I have is my vector to be plotted is FFCC $x dot bar. Notice that as I go typing, RStudio is helping me select what I really want. And then chart type is I, but the main title is, let's say, this is going to be the length of the road in millimeters. And then the white lab is going to indicate that these are millimeters. The X label is going to indicate the day, or actually day and shift, shift, and that's it. That's all I need to do. It looks like it is complete, so I hit enter, and there you go. You have a control chart that includes the well, the operand control limits are not don't have the precision enough, but it's a first start. The rounding of the limits of the upper and lower control chart is not correct.